Okay, now let's move on to the public authority power. Okay, as we know, the government is made up of many public bodies. So they have variety of functions, powers, okay, and they are created mainly by the legislature. In other words, they have been conferred of their powers from the enabling legislation or by the constitution, and they, as the public authorities, they cannot exceed those powers. Okay, so where you will find out the powers of public authority through the enabling legislations or through the constitution. Therefore, okay, public authorities, they have to conduct their power according to the statute, okay, according to the authorities and powers given by the statute. Okay, basically, there are three powers conferred on public authorities, which can be classified into: first, rule-making power, or also known as legislative. Okay, legislative derived from the parliament, right? So previously we give the not previously, but the main sources of law, okay, legislations are coming from the parliaments. Okay, however, under administrative law, we give the functions or the powers of rule-making to the public authority. Okay, so lawmaking through the power delegated to them by the legislature. That's why the law made by the public authority known as delegated legislation or subsidiary legislation. Okay, the second power given to public authority is administrative power, or also known as executive. Okay, so they can exercise functions of advisory, okay, and investigative power. And third power given to them is known as adjudicative or judicial functions. This is also known as quasi-judicial functions. So they can adjudicate power in imposing sanctions, okay, and taking administrative actions or decisions. Okay, previously I explained to you that one example, they can exercise a discretionary power by imposing a sanction. By imposing a punishment. Okay, for example, penals in the disciplinary board. Okay. Okay. Basically, under rule making or legislative functions, okay, they have been given power by the statute. Okay, so if they have the power given by the parliament, by the statute, then they can propose subsidiary legislations. So all subsidiary legislation will become binding. Okay, binding rules. Okay, efficient and effective administrations necessarily requires promulgations of law. So we need persons, okay, or bodies to promulgate the law. Okay, make known the law to the public. Okay, and then the law also can be flexible to the existing situations and also dealing with detailed technical matters. So we need to subdelegate, okay, the functions of rule making to the public authority. Okay, so public bodies should also enact rules within the limits of delegations. As I mentioned just now, they cannot go beyond of the power conferred to them by the statute. Okay, and then For the executive functions or executive power, okay, for example, in an advisory functions, public body may submit a report to the head of executive and the legislature. And cases falling under advisory functions include proposing a new legislation to legislature and informing the public prosecutor the need to take measure when there is violation of law. So they have the rules to advise the public prosecutor. And apart from that, they can exercise the investigative powers, okay, whereby they may investigate activities and practices that may be illegal. Okay? And for adjudicative functions or decision-making power, okay, they can exercise the impositions of sanction or punishments, and also they can take administrative measures and decisions. Okay, so as a panel in the disciplinary board, they can impose sanctions, provided that, okay, they have an equal hearing, a just hearing. Okay. Okay, next. Okay, there are few functions of administrative bodies. Okay, first is a legal functions. Okay, for a legal functions, they have the authority to make or pass subsidiary legislations. And for quasi-judicial functions, they have an internal decisions-making process. Internal here, okay, is going the process of disciplinary proceeding, for example, okay. Even in UITM, okay, we have a platform known as disciplinary board, okay, board of discipline, right? Okay, for example, if we find a student cheating in examination, we cannot simply impose sanction to the students, okay, but we need to conduct a disciplinary proceeding, okay, conduct just hearing. Okay, this student is allowed to call witness, okay, to provide evidence, okay. So the process is quite what we call it as according to the rules of natural justice, okay. And later, after here, the evidence, okay, from a witness, from the students, then only panels may decide, okay, to impose sanction. Okay, this is meant by a quasi-judicial function. Okay, and then the other functions of administrative bodies is pure administrative or ministerial functions. This function does not involve any discretions to perform, okay, to be performed. For example, to collect tax, so it does not involve any decision making. And last but not least is for administrative functions is to enforce law and regulations. Okay, so they will act as executive. Okay, so since we given them, okay, the power to make law, subsidiary legislations, and then quasi-judicial power to make decisions, okay, then we need to control the powers exercised by this public authority. That's why we need judicial review. Okay, so for judicial review, we will proceed in the next topic. Okay, so I think that's all for the first chapter. If you have any question, please directly contact me. Yeah? Okay, thank you for your kind attention.